Um, just to wrap it up, I mean, you've been in the gym a million times. I mean, you're on your way to the gym right now. So like you'll see your fighters and you'll see them, you'll see them doing certain things like some of the stuff like you said about Morel. Taking somebody's power away, being probably a little bit more, probably being more better defensively, more defensive sounded. Um, but come like fight night, like how do you know as a coach when it's just like, all right, I know my guy can do all of this, but it's like it's a different animal when it's like under the bright lights. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get him to just, all right, man? Is it just training or is it just like a mental thing? Like, what do you do?
When I know a guy is right, one of the things that I look for is he doing things that we practice without me having to ask?
Hmm.
If I see a guy doing things that we practice without me having to ask him, then I know his mind is clicking right and he's peaking and he's ready to go. And usually that should happen about 2 weeks before the fight. About 2 weeks before the fight, everything should start coming together if it hasn't already. Because the week of the fight, everybody thinks the week of the fight you don't do nothing. You do something, you just don't do it as hard.
Hmm.
So the week of the fight, you're going over the game plan, you watching video, you hitting a little bit of pads, you shaking out, but you can see that sharpness and the mind quickness and the processing ability. And but the week, 2 weeks leading up to the fight, you still sparring, you still doing everything. And if there is like a tendency in the guy or in the opponent, I meant if it's just little things, you want to see your guy do something that you've been practicing without you at like let's just say I'm just gonna say something really generic.
Hmm.
Let's say you was practicing on a left hook to the body and you see the guy's a sucker for a left hook to the body.
Hmm.
Um, 2 weeks before the fight, you don't want to have to keep asking your fighter, hey man, where's that left hook to the body? We've been
Hmm.
working on it all camp. You don't want to ask him that because if you gotta ask him that, then you know, things are not clicking off.
Yeah.
But and that's in those sparring sessions, if he ripping the left hook to the body and he's getting the angle on it and he's putting it sometimes inside the elbow, sometimes outside the elbow, sometimes he's pivoting on it, and he's doing all this stuff that y'all been working on the pads and the heavy bag, and he's doing it and it's coming off and it's coming off. You're like, yo, we ready to go. So that's one of my barometers. I like to it's kind of weird. I give my guys space the week before the fight, but I'm also around them. You know what I mean? Like we'll watch a little video, we'll talk,
Well,
because I think that that's the mental part
you
of the
said
fight. That's the exercise.
you said the
Well,
week before. You said the week before the fight. Do you mean like fight week or you mean the week before fight week?
no, like fight week. Like say if a
Okay.
fight is on Saturday night and today
Hmm.
is Monday. Let's say if you was fighting Saturday night,
Yeah.
like we gonna watch some film, we gonna shake out in the gym. We do a lot of talking. Like okay, um, when Caleb fought Dirrell, that was my first fight with him.
Hmm.
So man, we got to New York. Man, him just went for a walk.
Hmm.
We just went for a walk. We just talked. We talked about life. We talked about some personal things, both things that happened in both of our lives. You know, you know. And then I never forget. I said to him, I said, "Man, you better than everybody think you are. I didn't see you do some stuff in that gym. You look like a white Roy Jones or a white Oscar De La Hoya, man." I said, "You kind of conservative in your fight, and you don't, you know, people don't see that side of you in your fights. But I seen it in the gym because in that camp, he knocked a couple guys out cold.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why don't you let that shit go, man? Like, what's going on? Why are you so conservative in real fights? And he looked at me and said, Coach, I'm gonna let that shit go.
Hmm.
And I needed to have that talk with him. You know what I mean? Because you know, um, fighters, they're human beings and they go through a lot of stuff. We just walked around downtown Brooklyn, just me and him, and we
Hmm.
just was talking. So I like to do that with my guys before fights. I like to spend a little time with them if it's at the house or just, it's just certain things that you just need to see. Julian Williams was my first fighter. We'd be in the hotel. He'd knock on my door and just want to talk. Like, what you see, what you don't see. Like, I just need to see certain things. Like, he always would want to know, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? And
Mm.
I'd be like, man, I don't want to lie to you. We good. I don't see nothing I haven't seen. Or sometimes I'll be like, yo, I saw this. Kyrone Davis, he's a little bit different. He's a more laid back, carefree kind of guy. But his last fight with Elijah Garcia,
Yep.
I went to his room and he was zoned out. It was dark in there. He was sitting in his bed in there. I was like, "Whew, man." I start calling people like, it's 10-1, put everything on him.
How
I'm
come I
not
didn't
lying.
get a
I'm like,
text,
put
brother?
everything on him.
How come
Whatever
I didn't
you,
get a text, man?
man,
Come on.
I haven't heard from you in a while. I tell you one thing, his dad bet 10,000 on him. I
God
said, bet.
damn.
I said, bet everything on him, man. Cause we had a good camp. When I seen him in his room, he was just sitting in his bed. And I'm like, okay. Cause I go to God's room and it's something that I do to them before we go, like to get their body like real worked up
Mhm.
and get their body ready to go. So I went to his room and I did, my ritual, to get him like ready. And he was sitting in his bed in the dark with this look on his face like he just killed somebody. I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, damn. I didn't say nothing. I didn't bother him. I just said, I know what you're gonna do, man. So we did our thing, and I left and I seen him and he had like that attitude. He like, that's like my son, man. So he kind of like looked at me like, don't you worry, I'm fucking this boy up. And I was like, I just was just calling my boys like, yo, put everything on Quran, bro. I
Mm.
got so many thank you. I was like, put everything on him. I was getting calls like, it's 10-1. Is he in shape? I said, put everything on him. I don't care. Whatever you got to spare, bet on him. Bet it. He gonna tear this boy to pieces.
Yeah.
And he did, so it's just things that you look for, man. It's hard really to quantify with words, but you know it when you see it. And getting around them is their personality, but in the gym, it's if they're doing things that you've been working on. Because a good trainer is going to create a certain kind of muscle memory in his guy throughout a camp. And you need to and you repeat that over and over in camp. And then the week of the fight leading up to it, 2 weeks before the fight, in the spar and everything, you need to be seeing that stuff. It doesn't mean you can't win. I'm not trying to jinx anybody, but it does mean that he's at a higher place. If you see that stuff that you're working on, that's like the fruits of your labor. You get to see it, and if you don't see it, then that means that it hasn't always clicked in.
Mm. Got it. That is the perfect way to end it. I really like that. I'm gonna check next time Karan's fighting, and I'm gonna shoot you a text, man. But nah,
he
man.
um he just got ordered to fight the eliminator with the IBF.
Mm,
So
okay.
hopefully we'll be getting some news pretty soon, and you know he's willing to fight any of the champions, but I think he's gonna have to go the mandatory route, and he just got the order with the IBF, so we'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a date for him pretty soon.
All right. Well, you already know we're gonna chop it up about him very soon. Appreciate you taking the time, brother. Hope you have a good time in the gym, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, later.